I wonder if we asked the average woodworker how many drill bit types they could name. I bet it wouldn't be that many. And there's a cornucopia of different types of drill bits. We're talking hundreds. It can really be a bit confusing. What, nobody? So in today's video, we're gonna help you beef up the most important tool in your shop, your knowledge noodle. And we're gonna start by sharing 8 bits that we use in our shop on a regular basis that a lot of woodworkers don't know about. The first bit we're looking at today has an unusual tip profile. It's called the Viking Ultra Bore, and it has a 60-degree tip on it, and it's designed for drilling through hard plastics and acrylics without getting that nasty blowout on the back that you get from traditional twist bits. As an example, we took a brand new twist bit and drilled a couple of holes in some acrylic. And you can see right away, even though the bit's brand new, you're getting blowout on the back side of the acrylic. The advantage to the Viking bit is that when you're using it in acrylic and hard plastics, it doesn't push through, it cuts through. So you get a nice clean exit hole with no blowout. The Viking Ultra Bore also works really good in wood. Where it really shines is when you have an awl mark that you're trying to hit very accurately. With a regular twist bit, you might get walking or not get exactly center. With that really nice sharp point on the Viking Ultra, it's easy to find that mark and get really accurate with your drilling. Before we jump into this next bit, I need to say thank you to Mike Taylor from Tay Toolworks. He's the gentleman that introduced us to a few of these bits. This one in particular has changed the game for us. These are the most used drill bits we have in our shop. Let me introduce you to the Viking Vortex stepped drill bits. And they are amazing. I don't care if you're cutting wood or metal or plastic or composites. These guys do a great job of drilling the holes. With metal, there's no pre-drilling. With wood, there's very little in the way of tear out, in or out. I can't say enough good things about these. I'll stop talking about them now and just show you. This is 5/32 inch thick steel, 1/2 inch bit, no pre-drilling. Like butter. I realize this is a woodworking channel and not all of you do any work with steel. Quite a few woodworkers do work with steel, and that's impressive. No pre-drilling. Now, if that's not impressive enough, let's try the same thing in some 1/2 inch bar stock. Oh my God, that's amazing. I really should have added a little bit more oil, but cut right through it. So now we're going to take this bit and go use it on some wood. If there's one set in this entire video that I think everybody should have in their shop, it's definitely this set. But they are high quality bits and it comes with a price tag. Worth it? Absolutely. This crazy looking bit is called the F-Style Anti-Burr bit. It has a real aggressive auger style flute, which means it goes through wood really easily. And each one of the flutes cuts the material away. It has a hex shank, so it's designed to be used in a cordless drill. And because of its design, it removes material easily without a lot of torque. So you're going a lot longer between changing that battery out on the drill. The unique point on the front makes it so you can start drilling into a piece of wood and then tilt it up and drill at a severe angle. You get very little in the way of tear out and it cuts a very clean hole. Performance-wise, it really shines in getting those really nice clean holes, both entrance and exit. So if you're doing a through hole, you can go all the way through the material out the other side with very little in the way of tear out, especially if that cut isn't back. Since I've gotten a set of these, I don't believe I pulled my paddle bits out at all. They're just sitting there all lonely in the bottom of the drawer. Only downside to these bits, if you could really call it a downside, is they don't come in standard sizes. You can only get a set of these in metric, but that's a pretty easy workaround. Even though I don't use this bit as often as I do many of the other bits in my arsenal, this might be my favorite one. This is the Tri-Cut Ultra Smooth bit. And this auger bit is a beast. In my opinion, every contractor, electrician, and hand tool woodworker needs a set of these in their arsenal. If AI ever takes over the world, this is the first set that's going in my bug out bag. Come on, Maggie, we're bugging out. First of all, it's called a tri-cut because it has 3 flutes on it. It has an extended knife on the flute to make sure that it's cutting that material away ahead of the bit. And that makes for a very smooth cut. It also makes for a very easy cut. I can go right straight through a 4x4 with my small subcompact Makita drill. The only caveat is it's got a 7/16 inch shaft, so 1/2 inch chucks aren't going to work on this. It's also amazing for hand tools, for putting in a brace or for doing handwork. And it performs better than anything I've ever seen. So I wanted to do a little test. In front of me is the fish bit. This is a $73 bit, and I have the tri-cut bit. This is a $27 bit, and they're both 1 inch. I'm gonna put these in my brace and give them a test. And I'm not gonna cut all the way through this 4x4, but what I am gonna do is show you the chips that come out of both of these bits, and you'll be able to probably hear some of the difference in the cutting as well. To make the tri-cut smoothbore work with my traditional brace, I've got this attachment. This little feller goes right on the end of it. And now I can put it in my brace. We'll start off with the fish. It's not bad, you definitely know you're working. A little more difficult now. Okay, that's enough. Put those chips right there. Now we'll switch over to the tri-cut. This is much easier. I don't know if it's because of the third cutting edge. And this actually feels like it's cutting, not tearing the wood. That one was not bad at all, went right straight through. Let's take a close-up at these chips. I mean, this is, you can see for yourself, the tri-cut chips are longer, they're larger, they came out easier. The fish chips are smaller. They look more like they're kind of torn or chiseled out. That's just a much better looking chip, and this was much easier to cut. Now I'll show you the holes they made and wait till you see the difference. So this is the tri-cut, and if you look on side here, you can see that nice smooth edge that goes all the way down. This is the hole the fish bit made, which is a lot more tearing and a lot more ragged. Hands down, the tri-cut Ultra Smooth is taking home the blue ribbon in this comparison. This funky looking drill bit is a drill bit that also cuts wood. This is one of my secret weapons. I use this often when I'm making jigs or for making elongated slots when I'm doing hold downs for tabletops. The sets I get come with 6 bits and they go from 1/8 up to 5/16. And this is how you use them. And just like that, I've got a nice little slot cut. The real advantage of these are speed. So as long as you're not making a super long elongated slot for some jig or fixture and you just need a short one, I go right straight for these. It's really fast. It's done on one operation right here on the drill press. I'm not bringing a second tool into the job like a jigsaw or having to take it over to the router table. This is called the Miller stepped drill bit, and it's best friends with a step dowel because this doesn't work without this. This is one that many of you may have seen before, but there's some information here that you may not know. So when you're doing joinery where you have an exposed dowel or you're using it as a decorative element, you don't want to use a regular dowel. We did a fun experiment here so you can see what happens when you use a straight dowel as opposed to using a step dowel when you're using it for joinery. For this experiment, we drilled 2 holes, one with the regular twist bit and one with the Miller bit. Then we took it over to our workbench and treated it like we would treat any kind of dowel when we're doing joinery. We put a little glue in the hole, tap the dowel in. And on the straight bit, you can see what happens where all that glue gets pushed right straight to the bottom and it doesn't go around the dowel. With the hole we cut with the Miller step bit, the glue got really nice even distribution all the way around the step dowel. So if you're pushing all your glue out of your joint, you're not going to get any strength. With the Miller dowel system, we got nice even gluing all the way around that. The way you know if you're drilling deep enough is there is a little mark right here at the top of the bit. So you drive that down until you get to the head of that or that line, and then you stop. So there's no guesswork. Now that's guaranteed to have even glue distribution all the way around it, so I'm going to have a really strong drawer box. All I need to do now is sand it. I've got the contrasting dowels in there, which gives it a really nice look. Before we jump into the next bit, I want to talk a little bit about our test. The argument could be made that if you're doing it in wood, some of those pores in the wood will pick up some of the glue. And you're probably right in softer woods like pine and cedar and maybe even like some of the softer hardwoods like cherry and poplar. But when it comes to the more decorative woods that tend to be used more in furniture like maple and hickory and those sorts, that's a fairly dense wood. And the denser the wood goes, the more results you're going to have exactly like this, where it's just pushing the glue out of the way. For me, I'm going to be using step bits when it comes to exposed dowel joinery. And this is called the OverDrive bit. So the OverDrive bits have all but replaced my Forstner bits. And the really nice thing about them replacing my Forstner bits is I don't have to say Forstner anymore. These bits again are designed to be used in a cordless drill, and they have a really smooth cutting, and it doesn't take a lot of power to do that. So they're removing the torque, again, meaning you're not changing the battery as often. They also work really good on a drill press. What's really impressive about these bits is their ability to cut really easily, quickly, and have a nice clean entry hole and exit hole. Check this out. Look at that. Out of this bit. It's crazy. Let's try one with a Forstner bit. Before we start this comparison, I want everybody to know I realize that you don't use a Forstner bit through a through hole without backing it. But with these, you don't have to. Let's try it anyway. We're gonna be a minute. These are really designed to be used in a drill press. OverDrive wins. Let's try the OverDrive one more time. Goodbye, Forstner, Flossner, Ford, whatever you are. My only gripe about the OverDrive bits from Wood Owl is they only make them in 7 sizes. So, hence the reason we still have Forstner bits in the shop to fill in those gaps in between. This crazy looking bit is called a flat bottom counterbore, or just counterbore. So if you drill a hole and you need a flat bottom in it, say to recess a bolt or something like that, these things come in real handy. Let me show you. So I've pre-drilled a 5/16 hole, and this is the complementary counterbore cutter for that hole. They come in all kinds of different sizes. Let me just go ahead and counterbore this out so you can see what it does. So out of the bits that we've done today, this is probably the most unique looking, but it's definitely the most boring. Come on, guys, work with me. Now, I know I said 8 drill bits, but this next one is not a drill bit. It's an organizational system for drill bits. And everybody knows I love me some good organization. This is the KISS drill bit system, and I wouldn't have a shop without it. For you guys who have been watching me for years, you've seen this 8-10 years ago on my channel. The nice thing about the KISS drill bit system is it has a plethora of different drill bits and sizes, and it's a general workhorse drill bit. So I don't ever have to guess if I have the right size drill bit in the shop. It's here and it's well organized, so I never get them mixed up or confused. Especially as I'm getting older and my sight's getting less and less good. I can just come along, look right here at the large lettering. It's color coordinated with the bits, so I know that's where I get it from and where I put it back to. I can't say enough good about this drill bit system. Having access to all these different sizes and the storage system definitely makes it worth the money. Well, folks, that about winds it up. I certainly hope that this video didn't make your head spin and there weren't too many ups and downs. And I really hope we didn't go in circles. You can't make this stuff up. It's solid gold. I gotta write this down, Maggie. As always, links will be in the description box. We really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next video.